The sentence rang out like a slap, sharp, almost mocking, slicing straight through the buttoned-up hush of the Bionova boardroom. Translate this, and my salary is yours. Yeah, that happened. And you better believe everyone sitting around that marble table just about lost it, except for the guy behind the mop, standing so still he might as well have been invisible. That guy was me. Miguel Alvarez. Single dad. Janitor. The punchline of the room, apparently. From where I stood, tucked in the shadow of a glass partition, I watched Veronica Leang, CEO, Power Blazer, and probably the sharpest mind in the company, waving a thick document like she was doing stand-up. Seriously, not even our lead counsel could make sense of it. It's all in German technical patent language. She tossed it onto the side table near the espresso machine with a flick of her wrist, shooting a wink at the guys. Legal meets science. Translate this, and I'll write you a check for my quarterly salary. Someone whistled. That's 400 grand, Veronica. You sure about that? She just smirked, like she already knew the answer. I kept my head down, mop gliding easy, like none of this was about me. Truth is, I'd seen 100 documents like that. Technical German, burned into my brain after years in a different life. But you learn to hide your cards when you're not supposed to have any left. Especially when the crowd is this quick to laugh. She called out over her shoulder. Make sure the janitorial team doesn't toss this one. Might be worth something eventually. Laughter. I didn't look up. Years of practice made it easy. But my grip on the mop tightened, white-knuckled. Almost. After all, you can get used to being invisible, but that doesn't mean it ever stops stinging. I finished the floor, slipped out into the hall, and only then let myself breathe. In the quiet, I doubled back, grabbed the document, and ducked downstairs to the locker room. Just me and the hum of cheap fluorescent lights. I opened the file on the bench. Every page was a knot of dense legalese. Diagrams, scribbled notes, and a handful of phrases that made my gut twist. Some sections granted the German partner unrestricted access to Bionova's client genome database, a straight-up violation of HIPAA. Others basically signed away the intellectual property of all our future software. I muttered under my breath. They didn't read this. They couldn't have. I thumbed the Bionova logo in the corner. 10 years since I'd last translated one of these. 10 years since I left my name behind in academic journals, trading in chalk dust for mop water and anonymity. It was after 2 when I finally made it home. My daughter, Camila, was asleep on the pullout. Sketchbook open, arm draped over the edge. I brushed her hair back, and in the soft yellow light, brewed coffee, booted up the ancient laptop I hadn't touched since the University of Texas, and dug out my old leather notebook. The one with my personal lexicon, patent lingo, EU legal shifts, compliance loopholes, all scrawled in 3 languages. And while the city slept, I started translating. Word for word, clause by clause. Before sunrise, I sealed the translation in an envelope and slipped it into the company's legal drop box. No signature, no note. Just the truth, as clean and bare as I could make it. As I passed the reception desk, Veronica stepped off the elevator, flanked by her legal guys. Her eyes brushed over me, pausing just long enough to register. What? Annoyance? Curiosity? Or nothing at all? I dipped my head. She kept moving. Good. I wasn't doing this for her. That evening, walking Camila home from school, she skipped beside me, backpack bouncing, voice bright. Dad, do you ever wish you were still a teacher? I laughed. I was never just a teacher, mija. I was your mom's husband. Now I'm your dad. That's more than enough. She wrinkled her nose. But you're really smart. Being smart, I told her, just means knowing when to speak up and when to listen. She tilted her head. Is that a professor saying? No, I said, stopping to meet her gaze. That's a janitor saying. And I mean it. The next morning, as the city woke up and Bionova gleamed under the rising sun, I dropped Camila off at school, lunch bag in hand. A small set of watercolor pencils tucked inside as a surprise. But my mind was on that document, on the translation sitting in someone's inbox, waiting to detonate. In the halls, I caught Camila's eye just as some kid snickered. That's Camila. Her dad's the janitor at Bionova. But he cleans toilets with a dictionary. A couple kids laughed. My hand tightened around her lunch. Camila, though, didn't flinch. She just stared the boy down and said, Cool as you please. My dad speaks 5 languages. How many do you speak when you're not hiding behind your mom? Silence. Sometimes the best lessons are unspoken. At home, she asked, why don't you tell people what you used to do? I shrugged. Because it's not about what I used to do. It's about who I am right now. That night, I tucked her in, then sat at the kitchen table with my old journal. Wrote it all down. The laughter, the document, the line that stung. Translate this and my salary is yours. For the first time in a decade, I didn't feel small. Next day, the boardroom was all tight faces and nerves. Veronica at the head of the table. She laid out the translation, my translation, exposing every buried trap in the contract. Whoever did this knows more about German biotech law than half our consultants, Derek from legal muttered. Should we try to trace? No, Veronica snapped. Not yet, but the word spread. In the legal Slack, someone typed, that anonymous translation saved us. It's above our pay grade. I scrubbed windows downstairs. Manager stopped me. Hey, Miguel, you see anyone drop something in legal last night? I played dumb. Just empty halls and old gum on the carpet. He chuckled. Yeah, figured. Later, Veronica found me by the south lobby. Miguel, right? First time she'd said my name. She led me to a quiet corner. Did you submit the translation? I didn't answer right away. Just looked her in the eye. I did. She wanted to know why anonymously. Because I wanted protection. For you, the company, everyone, including me. She asked what I wanted. Not a raise. Not recognition. Just the truth told. That's when things really shifted. Internal reviews started. The legal team couldn't believe the depth of what I'd found. Stuff only a trained linguist or an insider could catch. Veronica offered me a new role. International compliance. Cross-border language audits. I told her, visibility is a luxury when you have something to lose. She said, maybe it's time to stop hiding. And for once, I let myself believe it. At home, Camila asked, if someone gave you your old title back, would you use it? I smiled. Only if I thought I'd earned it. She said, I think you have. That meant more than any promotion. The truth came out in waves. The real culprit, Eric Shaw, a VP, was caught. He'd snuck in those clauses, hoping nobody would read close enough. But I did. The board confronted him. Veronica thanked me. But I told her, sometimes the biggest difference comes from the one no one expects. She nodded. Exactly why it matters. Months passed. I worked quietly, but with purpose. Annotating contracts, training legal teams, never asking for credit. Camila thrived in art, her confidence blooming. Veronica, too, changed. She listened more, joked less, saw the people around her. One afternoon, Veronica handed me a nameplate, Dr. Miguel Alvarez, Director of Linguistic Integrity. Your choice whether to use it, she said. You're seen now. I smiled, put it in my desk drawer. I liked earning it, not displaying it. A year later, laughter in the halls sounded real. My office was simple. Camila and I had just finished presenting a joint story at her school. What you don't see. Afterward, she told me, I used to think being small meant being unimportant. Now I think it means you fit into places others never notice. I looked at her, my heart full. You're not just growing, I said. You're blooming. She grinned. Well, you're finally watering yourself too. So, if you're still watching, I have a question. Where are you from? Drop your city or country in the comments. And if you believe stories like this should be heard, stories of quiet courage and redemption, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because sometimes, the people everyone overlooks are the ones who end up saving us all.